Here's a little warning. Throughout the video I will continue to say Digimon instead of Digimon, the way Americans would pronounce it. Because that's just how us Germans say it and old habits are hard to break. And I think it sounds better that way anyways. Just saying this, you don't have to comment about it. Or actually, you can go insult me for saying it the wrong way, so the video can get tons of comments.
Digimon Rumble Arena!
Despite owning this game as a kid, I never actually played it that much. I don't think I ever even beat it as a kid. But I was really into Digimon as a kid, just like anyone else, so I needed to own it, and when I found it for cheap at the video store, I just had to get it. Despite not even liking fighting games that much, except for Smash. Smash was also the reason why me and my friends never played this, not a single time. Every time I begged them to play this with me, they just wanted to play Smash instead. And playing fighting games by yourself is just not really fun, at least not for me. I prefer playing other games by myself, like Digimon World 1 or Digimon World 2003 or Digimon World 3 for Americans, and to this day I still believe that if they just stuck with the gameplay of Digimon World 1 for the World games, the franchise would have been more successful when it comes to their games. It felt like they were having a midlife crisis and couldn't decide on what they want the World games to be. Oh, a monster raising battle game that everyone loves despite its flaws? Let's make the next World game a dungeon crawler instead, because those are known for their immense popularity. Also, let's not release it in Europe. That didn't go so well. How about making Digimon World 3 or 2003 a fairly generic JRPG that is way too long for its own good? I still liked it though. Well, that didn't go that great either. Let's make Digimon World 4 a Diablo kind of game. And yeah, the rest is history. But that's a whole topic for its own video that I'm never gonna do, so let's actually talk about this game instead, before I cry more about how nobody wanted to play it with me or how the developers of the World games never gave little me what I truly wanted. I played the American version, but I used the patch that restores the original Japanese OST of the game because it uses all the iconic intro and Digivolution themes of the anime, while the Western release got a brand new soundtrack, which is also great though, but more about that later. The game itself is just a pretty standard 2D fighter with a Digimon skin on top of it, and the roster is pretty much what you expect. All the important starter Digimon from the first 3 seasons are there. Sorry Mimi and Palmon, and the other main characters who didn't got theirs into the game, but I kinda forgot their names. As a kid I had a crush on Mimi and Palmon, so I would never forget the names of my first 2 waifus. Before you call me weird, I only had a crush on Palmon because of Lilymon, and you know what they say. If you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best and all that. To get more fighters, you gotta beat the game a couple of times with different fighters, just like how that was the standard back in the day. Gotta mindlessly grind the game out with fighters you never even use in hopes of unlocking one you actually want to use. Or you could check some cheat codes, which I tried, but they only unlock the characters for the 2-player mode, which kinda sucks when you play this game just for a YouTube video at 4 AM in the morning. The bottom row is for all the Digivolutions of the normal Digimon you can pick, and the top row is for the 2 unlockables like Omnimon or Impmon, one of my favorite Digimon. I love that brat. For my playthrough I picked Renamon, and I swear it's not because I'm a furry or anything like that. I just really like Renamon. No weird reasons attached to it. It's totally not because I wanted her to be my mom when I was younger or some stupid reason like that. Every Digimon has 2 special attacks with triangle or circle. X is for jumping and square is for doing a normal combo, while the L1 button is for blocking and the R1 button is for you to evolve and use your ultimate attack. Simple enough, right? And yeah, it may be too simple, but simple isn't always a bad thing. I think the people who think in the most simple ways are often the happiest people. One thing that can be bad about simple things though is that there's not really that much to say about them sometimes. The game is a fairly decent 2D fighting game with the Digimon franchise attached to it. The combat system is simple, the roster is simple, the stages are simple. But one thing I got to say about this one stage is that it's hecking annoying that the game just stops you every single time the stage rotates around. I'm sure the PlayStation 1 could have handled making the platforms rotate without the game needing to stop. One cool thing the game does though is giving Digimon an element, and depending on which element you are, you either deal more or less damage. Like a fire Digimon that falls into lava will take less damage than one who is more of the nature element. Doesn't really make a big difference, but it's kinda neat. So you just kinda beat up the other Digimon and that's it. It doesn't really get any deeper than that. The game shows you a combo counter, but it's almost impossible to actually combo attacks together. You can't really string melee attacks together because there's so many invincibility frames whenever you knock someone down and try to do more. It's not really possible to do combos, and if you can do combos in this game, I kneel to you. Also pressing the Digivolve button for the first time is kinda cool. Get your meter full and you can press R1 to Digivolve. Wow! Digivolve is such a cool word to say. It's like evolution but even cooler. Compare it to Pokemon where your Pokemon just kinda turns into another one. There's no special word for it. I know, nobody asked for my opinion about it, but I always liked the Digimon anime more than the Pokemon one. It got so dark and serious sometimes, and not to say that Pokemon didn't have moments like that too, but overall it was always, yeah, Ash wants to be the champ and that's kinda it. While in Digimon, the story went off the rails, especially with the second season. So yeah, you Digivolve and get 2 more attacks, or you can also press the R1 button again and use the rest of your meter to unleash an auto attack that deals tons of damage but can be tricky to hit, and if you miss it you totally just raise your Digivolution. There's also cards you can pick up and some fill up your Digivolution meter, some just make you Digivolve even if you don't want to, and some do extra attacks but they're kinda useless except for the ones that heal you. The final boss is Renamon, an original Digimon just for the game, till the Digimon Adventure reboot anime actually made him appear in it, which is pretty cool. I was checking the wiki to make sure I'm not saying any false information, and saw he supposedly appeared in Digimon Adventure and thought, huh? I would have remembered him. He has a pretty unique and scary design, so he would have given me nightmares as a kid because I was a huge scaredy cat, and still am. But then I googled further and saw it was from the reboot. So despite him being really annoying to fight against, I'm happy for him that he wasn't truly forgotten. He's the only Digimon that will make you feel like you're fighting against an AI that actually uses its little brain a bit. But to be fair, I played on easy mode, which I only found out when I went into the options menu to cheat and saw the game has difficulty settings. No idea why it won't just let you choose before you start the story, but maybe it's for the better, because if Renamon is already this annoying on easy, then I don't want to imagine it on harder difficulties. Also, goddamn, the visual effects on his stage make you feel like you're going insane. Or maybe my brain can handle things like this anymore at my old age. I'm still in my 20s, I'm not a boomer. But yeah, he kicked my ass when I tried to fight him normally, so I just cheesed him by shooting shit at him from the other corner of the arena, and then I won. His stage plays the song Break Up, also called Wir drehen auf in German, and it gives it such a way cooler feeling. It really feels like the final fight of the game because of it. I also listened to the international boss theme of him, and it's also a banger though. In general, the game has great music, regardless of if you played with the Japanese songs included or not. The game's version of Butterfly though is freaking amazing, even without the lyrics included, but I mean, everyone knows the lyrics to it anyways in their respective language, right? So just sing along and make the song even sweeter, or worse, if you can't really sing. The same goes for all the other theme songs in the game in the Japanese version of the game. While the new tracks for the international release of the game are also amazing, it's just impossible to reach the heights of those iconic Digimon themes that everyone knows, except for people who got the same intro song for every season. Poor Americans. But the worst thing about it is that Americans never even got all these sick Digivolution songs. They just used the same intro for those too. In the end, good song. It's a serviceable game that would be a lot of fun probably if I could have played it more back in the day with friends. Playing it alone just feels a bit hollow and there's really not much to do. But it has one of my favorite cuties, Kalumon, asking you what Digimon you want to play as in such a cute way that alone makes the game actually worth it.
Which Digimon are you gonna play with, huh? Which one? Go ahead, pick your favorite Digimon.
Digimon Rumble Arena 2.
The first big downgrade I noticed is the new announcer for the menu. It's just a random guy saying Digimon Rumble Arena 2 without even putting in a lot of energy. When I play a fighting game, I want the announcer to yell and scream at me at the top of his lungs, not so bowing. Again, the roster is fairly simple with no big surprises, but it's really heavily in favor of the Digimon from the first season, even more so than the first Rumble Arena. At least Paulmon made it into the game because of it though, yay! Sadly with all Mimi, since in this game there's no mention of any of the humans, which is a bit sad. In the first game, you got to see a little portray whenever you Digivolve, which is just gone here. But I also wonder if the Digimon community has the same problem as the Pokemon community, where half of them hate the pandering to the early seasons. Probably. If they would ever make another Pokken game, and 90% of the Pokemon would only come from the first gen, I'm pretty sure there would be some kind of riots. At first I thought Flamon was like an original character created for the game, till I looked him up and learned he is the Digimon from the main character of Digimon Frontier, which I have never watched except for maybe like 1 or 2 episodes once in a blue moon on TV when I was a kid. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but if you look at the start roster and see this guy, he does look kinda out of place, right? The way his eyes look so different from anyone else's. It even made me pick him since I wanted to see what he can do. Wanna hear the worst thing about the whole game? the jump button is on triangle. The jump button should always be on X, in my honest opinion. Even Rumble Arena 1 agrees with me on it. Going from Rumble Arena 1 straight to Rumble Arena 2 felt a bit weird because of it, and using the triangle button to jump is weird to begin with. I even went into the emulator settings to see if my PlayStation 2 emulator maybe had the wrong button configuration and it somehow mixed up X with triangle, but nope, it just uses triangle for jump. That should not happen. No video game should use triangle for jumping. A big difference from the first game is also that you can Digivolve even further. So now you can Digivolve and boom, turn on your Super Digivolution if you fill up your meter again. And you even stay in that form till you lose a life, but if you're in your Super Digivolution, you only go back one step instead of going back to your original form. Also, instead of it filling up your Digivolution meter by attacking and getting it all for yourself, you actually have to beat the shit out of your opponents and collect the orbs they drop, but others can also just yoink the orbs. Why can't we just fairly share them together? That would make everyone happy. The story mode is also different this time. Instead of the classic arcade mode where you just fight, minigame, fight and so on, you can actually pick your fights. Want to have an easy fight? Go to the bottom path. Want to have a challenge? Go the top path. And as a bottom, I obviously chose the top path first because I wanted to be topped. You can also see your opponents in the map, but sometimes it just surprises you with random secret battles and modes, so watch out. It's a nice idea, so you can just avoid the maps or opponents you don't like to fight against, and even when going the bottom path, you can just shoot the top path after again to still go to the desired end boss. The loading screen before battles reminds me of Summon Sass somehow. Wouldn't it also be cooler if the color would be changed to fit the Digimon? Like Agumon gets yellow, Flamon gets red, etc. I guess if you had 2 yellow Digimon though, it would look ugly. Good thing I don't work as a designer on video games. I really want to play Summon Sass now, even though I am horrible at it. I can maybe remember 4 rounds and then my brain just stops. Why couldn't they make the presentation of it a bit more Digimon-like though? This sentence feels so random here, but I needed a good way to get to my next topic, the stages. Something about these stages just does not feel very Digimon-like. It feels more like as if someone created a fairly generic cartoony Smash Cloud and just put them into the Digimon franchise. Mom, can we have Brinstar? No kiddo, we already got Brinstar at home. And it is the Brinstar in question. It kinda lacks a visual identity like most of the other stages, except for the giant skull in the background that reminds me of the Bad to the Bone meme. Then we also got a random pier. If we remove the Digimon, nobody would guess this is from a Digimon game. Most of these stages have a gimmick to them, like here on the pier the boxes get switched around and after some time the gate at the bottom opens up and if you fall in you die. Totally didn't happen to me. The cannery is a love-hate relationship for me. You can't stand still because of the conveyor belts and they keep pushing you down or into the pumps, and if you fall all the way down or into one of the pumps, you come out again as a barrel, which is just kind of funny for a bit, but it stays for way too long, and you can't do anything while being a barrel except for doing a ground pound attack, so you just run around like a chicken with its head in the sand for a whole minute. An annoying but fun stage. The jungle ruins are just generic again like in the first game, not even having a gimmick, and this Wild West stage goes hard because you can just throw people into the minecarts and they go boom. Look at this sick kill. And this Gatomon bug. She's going awooga, I guess. Big fan of Twisted Toyland though. I just love the aesthetic and it's so cute with the baby mons in the background. Normally I really don't like scrolling stages like these, or auto-scrollers in general, because nobody does. But the stage also has thrumps. Don't get hit by them obviously, even though in real life I would like to find out how it feels like to get stomped by one, so I can finally realize what Mario is going through. The game feels a bit broken though, but not really in a technical way. Sure, you can complain about the really horrible hitboxes, and also that they went a completely different route when it comes to combos because we have almost 0 invincibility frames this time, which can get annoying because they can just keep hitting you over and over and over and stun lock you, but at least you can do the same to your enemies, but still. But what's really broken are some of the characters, mostly the ones you can unlock. For example, Duskmon can just teleport, shoot a laser all across the map, and his attacks have such a massive range and deal massive damage. He's massive. And after beating him in the story mode, you unlock him and can play as him yourself, which I totally wouldn't have done if I would have played this with friends. He's the kind of character that you pick and your friends just groan and tell you to pick someone else, or they will plug out your controller during the match because it's just not fun to play against such a broken character. And it doesn't stop there. The next one I unlocked was Renamon. This one somehow feels even more broken, even though he's just a joke character. His punches and kicks make funny comic noises, he can throw a banana, and the rest of his attacks are just fart related. And strong as fuck. You can fart a whole brown fart bubble out and it's extremely powerful and drains the whole HP of your enemies in a matter of like 3 seconds. If I would have picked this character when playing this with friends, they would have farted into my face and told me they will do that every time I pick this little freak. But some people would probably like that. The supposedly hardest boss I unlocked was Marlo Miostasmon because, well, he's at the top path, so he must be super broken, right? But he was actually kinda easy since it's so easy to cheese with Renamon and I just kept farting on him. Normally he's probably a pain in the butt. And it also helps that the final stage you fight on has an endless abyss you can just throw your enemies into. It somewhat reminds me of the Midgar stage in Smash. Just pick up your enemy and poof, throw them down because unlike in the first game you don't respawn with a bit less health, you just instantly perish. This could have been an amazing game to play with friends back in the day, despite all the jank, and I'm a bit sad that I never got to experience it. Judging fighting games is kinda a sad experience playing them all by myself. It just doesn't feel right. It's the kind of decent game that would get elevated by playing it with friends, but it goes even for the worst games ever created. With friends it's always way more fun. It's just how life is. Both games have actually managed to make me really want to rewatch and maybe also watch some of the seasons I have missed as a kid. Reading up some things on the wiki for the video just made me think, god damn, that sounds edgy and cool as fuck. I need to check them out. But sadly, it doesn't end here.
Digimon All-Star Rumble!
Did you know there's another Digimon Rumble game? Probably not. I have never seen anyone talk about this game online. Does it mean it's bad? Of course not, but it's called Digimon All-Star Rumble and I would not trust any fighting game on the PlayStation 3 with the word All-Star in its title. It's just a bad omen. Don't ask me why. Also shout out to the announcer of the title, he tried at least. Instead of having a classic arcade style story mode, the game tries to be a bit more than that. Having cutscenes that are basically still images with extremely short dialogue and then it pushes you into the stages. Here's my daily question for you. What year do you think the game came out in? 2007? So an early PlayStation 3 or 360 game? 2010? In the middle of the generation? Well, it came out in 2014. Basically a whole year after the PlayStation 4 was already out. But who cares if the graphics are insanely outdated, as long as the game itself is fun, right? But it's not fun. Like I said 10 seconds ago, instead of having a classic arcade mode like the first game, or something similar to the Pick Your Path arcade mode of the second game, it tries to be some kind of adventure game in between. It reminded me a bit of the way how Digimon World 4 is like, but way worse, and I already didn't like World 4 that much. You gotta get through these boring, sad looking stages to actually get to battle the real battles, and these stages are just a waste of time, even if they're also extremely short most of the time. Walking around ugly tiny environments that are just corridors without any real exploration, opening chests that are either give you bits, food to restore health or cards. These cards can be used to upgrade your Digimon a little bit and give it special effects, like when you hit an enemy you got the random chance to stun it for 1 second. Little things like that. Sometimes you even get to press a switch to open a gate. Yay, my brain cells are working overtime today. Like I said, these stages are boring and they made me think I'm sad. They made me depressed actually, kinda. On your way, you also beat up tons of weak Digimon, but sometimes there's also bigger ones like Tortomon or Skull Mammothmon. But even those are not really strong because all the enemies pretty much just got one attack and it's extremely easy to just walk around them, hit them, they do their long animations, they miss, you attack, rinse and repeat. Except for this part where they decided, hey, let's team up 3 Tortomon here where you can barely attack because they will keep spinning into you. This part is just dirty, and not the good kind of dirty. It just forces you to guard the whole time and hit a few hits so you can Digivolve to beat their spinning shells. This was the only hard part in the game, and it's not exactly hard, but just extremely annoying. These stages will rob you of all your motivation to play through the story again with another character, but you have to do it if you want to unlock more characters, yay. But the thing is, you mostly unlock the normal characters by only beating them once. So you get most of the normal Digimon, but if you want like Omnimon and stuff like that, you have to beat it with multiple characters. And these stages don't change on a different playthrough. The only difference is the actual fights you get to fight and some different dialogue, that's it. You get to play the same bad stages but just with a different Digimon. Which makes sense though, the game has 12 Digimon and having to make unique bad stages for each of them would be too much work, and the game already only has a budget of a 10-year-old kid who just got its first allowance. At least these stages have some kind of variety to them, like here's a forest, a factory, another forest, but this time it's more forest-like. some kind of castle, which for some reason I really like the aesthetic of, even if it may look worse than the castle of a PlayStation 2 game. A beach and a volcano stage that is pretty much longer than any other stage in the game combined, with endless hordes of odd enemies you have encountered in the game so far. I almost died here and I have no idea what happens if you die, but I knew one thing for certain: if I had to do that stage from the start again, I would have just turned off the game. The actual battles are a mixed bag. Instead of being 2D, it's an arena brawler where you can walk in any direction you want, which I like because going on a walk always gives you multiple paths in life, right? Wanna walk through the park? You can do that. Wanna walk through the city? You can do that. But you can't do that in a 2D fighting game since you only got left and right. But the newly added third dimension here isn't really fun. The stages are small and the combat feels really stiff, because despite having tons of moves this time, they all lock you into long animations that you can cancel, but it still feels a bit of luck if it cancels or not. But no worries, the AI won't be able to punish you for it anyway, since it's actually even dumber than me. Look at Gilmon, I almost feel bad for him. One thing the AI is good at though is running away when you do your big evolution, because in this game they are even stronger than in the others. In the other games they were stronger than your normal form too, because well, that just makes sense. But here, getting hit by a combo from a Digivolve Digimon will steal away like half of your life if you're not Digivolved yourself, so better run and hope it runs out fast. Also in the first and second game you could easily cheese many opponents by just spamming your range moves, but that's impossible now, since every range attack uses your special power meter now. So no more standing at the other corner of the map just shooting your stuff because you're gonna run out. Which is a good thing, yay! A positive thing I can say about this game. Another positive thing I can say about the game is that, just like with the stages, there's a bunch of variety here with different game modes. Basically, any battle in the story mode is different. Kill your enemies and get points, yay! Deal more damage than your enemy, yay! Kill your enemies 3 times and you win, yay! Extremely original, but there are actually some that are not that generic, like the one where you gotta capture the flag and keep it for points, or the game mode where both of you start with a bomb attached to them, and I have no idea what the thought progress here was. I think the faster you do damage to them, the faster a bomb explodes. But it didn't really feel like it. It would have been better if it just made you pass the bomb around like a game of hot potato. The game is just the worst kind of boring bad. It's not bad enough to call it the worst game ever and whip right into it, but instead it's the kind of bad that is so unremarkable that you will forget about the game in a matter of seconds after playing it and never think of it again. Poor Digimon fans, they deserve better than this. Even if the franchise may not be as big as it was back in the day, I still think that a new decent Rumble Arena could easily sell well enough and make fans happy. For some reason the game also never released in Japan, lucky them, and I wonder what little company got contracted by Bandai Namco to create this game for them. Probe? Never heard of them. Let's check what they made before. Oh, the company was founded by Sonic's creator Yuji Naka, a wanted criminal like him, and he also worked on the game as one of the producers. That explains a lot. I sure hope no other controversial person worked on this game. Okay. Oh,